Hello and welcome back. This is a continuation of Joomla 2.5 training, lesson 3. In this lesson, we will understand how to install a Joomla database with sample data. Alright, so a quick note to viewers and participants. You can have a quick read through it. Alright, so let's proceed. Set up Joomla 2.5. So in the last class, you would have seen that we have installed Joomla in a folder called as freeoracletrainings.com. But now in this, we need to install the database for our website with sample data. So in order to do that, you need to first go to this link on your website. Okay, so type this link on the browser, http://localhost followed by the name of your folder which you have given while extracting Joomla. Okay, in my case I gave the folder name as free Oracle training, so that's what I will give it. So let me just go to the browser and type http http://localhost and then free Oracle trainings. As soon as I do, hit the enter button, and that leads me to this screen. In this, by default, the language English is selected, but assuming that if you want to select some other language, you're more than happy to select that. Okay, so after having selected this, hit the next button on the top hand right corner. Okay, leave these settings as it is, although the recommended settings out here, it shows this display errors are on, output buffering is on, but still it doesn't matter. Okay, you can still leave it as it is. Okay, we can change these settings later, and I will explain you what each of these means. Okay, but as of now, leave it as it is and simply hit on the next button. You need to accept this GNU General Public License. So there is no accept button. As soon as you click next, that itself means acceptance. So I click on next. That leads me to a database configuration page wherein it asks me a couple of details. What are these details? The database type you can select from SQLi or SQL, it doesn't matter, let it be the default. Okay, the local host, the host name is nothing but the local host. What's the host? Host means the place which is used to host your website. You understand? Host is like the concept of guest and host. When a guest comes in, the host will go and bring tea, coffee, biscuits for the guests. So he's hosting the guest. So in this case, the host is the computer or the local host, but the guest in this case is our website. So localhost by default is the local computer. Okay, that's what is host. But later, if you, assuming that if your host is different, say your host could be a web server, so then it has to be a different name. I will explain this later when we will be hosting our website. We'll come back to this concept, or as of now, leave the default settings as it is. Then username and password. What's the username for database? What's the password? So username by default, let it be root. Let's name it root. Password, I leave it empty as of now for testing purposes. Otherwise, every time I go into the database, I need to enter the password. So for my convenience, I leave the password as empty. Database name. What should be my database name? I gave my database name as, say, free Oracle trainings. Okay, now you can give any database name which you can remember. Okay, then table prefix, it has generated a table prefix through a unique sequence automatically, but You can always override this if you wish. Now in my case, I wish to be named with FOT, which stands for Free Oracle Trainings. As simple as that. Okay, now before you go ahead, I think it's a good idea to save or to save these details, whatever you entered it somewhere, so that later on you should be able to recollect it. So it's a good practice to save these details perhaps on a notepad or Excel and save it somewhere in your computer. Okay, so type it, database type, say SQLi, right? Then you have given host name is nothing but localhost. Username I gave it as root. Password, there is no password I've given. Database name, I've given free Oracle trainings. And finally, table prefix is what? Is FOT underscore. Okay, I simply save these things somewhere. Okay, name this as initial config. This helps you to recall the details that you have given later. Otherwise, if you don't recall it, then you struggle to enter into the database. Okay, once you have done this, hit the next button. That leads us to another screen. It looks like it's loading. Alright, so it asks you for a couple of FTP configuration details. As of now, you can simply leave it as it is. Okay, leave the defaults. You don't need to enter these details as of now. So skip this, hit the next button. That leads me to a main configuration page wherein you can configure your website. Okay, for you to enter all these details, although the labels are self-explanatory, what I've done is I've written these on my presentation. So let's go back to the presentation. Okay, so we have done this step. Okay, now we are here, site name, right? Give your website name. In this example, I will give freeoracletrainings.com. So that's my website name, freeoracletrainings.com. Okay, what's our email? Get any email, a valid email address. So I will give info at freeoracletrainings.com. Okay, admin username, by default it's admin. Admin password, let's give a password. You can give any password out here that you wish. So I gave, say, easy password, TRAINME12, train me 12. Confirm your password, train me 12, all in lowercase. But it's a good idea that you give a strong password, that and make sure you remember it. Okay, what I do is all the details that I give here, I might forget it later, so I want to save it somewhere so that I should be able to recall it, just as we have done it for the database earlier. So I save it here, site name, your email, admin username, admin password. Okay, simply copy paste. And password, train me 12. Okay, it always helps you later, because if you forget admin password, then you will not be able to log in into the website at all. So good idea to save it. Now sample data. So if you recall, we started with this lesson with the agenda of not only installing the database but also installing the sample database. The sample database or sample data helps you to understand Joomla better, to play around, plus it also gives you a number of components or tools or modules for you to use it in your first Joomla website. Okay, this is optional, but I will highly recommend you to go for installing the sample data. In order to install sample data, simply click on this button. So it takes a while to install. After it's installed, the button changes and gets disabled. Sample data installed successfully. Once you've done that, hit on the next button on the top. So that leads me to a final page. Congratulations, Joomla is now installed. And now it says that whatever the Joomla has created a temporary installation folder for this installation, it asks you to remove that folder. So go ahead and remove it. In order to remove the installation folder, you need to click on this button, remove installation folder. Click on this button and look, it changes. Installation folder successfully removed. So this completes your Joomla database installation and Joomla installation plus sample data creation. Okay, in order to see your website, you can check it out here by clicking the website out here. Okay, when I click on that, look, that's my first Joomla website. Okay, this is what is nothing but it's come from where? It's come from the sample data that you have installed it. Alright, in order to proceed further, let's go back to the presentation to see what's the next step. Alright, so we have done all this. So we have simply installed Joomla. So congratulations everyone for starting with Joomla. So let's proceed to the next page. Alright, website front end and back end. So we have just seen the front end of our website, which you can access it by typing http://localhost and the folder name that you have given for extracting Joomla. So in my case, it's free Oracle trainings. That's what I have come and typed out here. If you see on the top in the browser, that's what it is, http localhost free Oracle trainings. Okay, website backend. To see your website backend, what is a front end, what is a back end? Front end means a place wherein the user has the access. Back end is a place wherein the administrative users will have access, wherein you can actually change your website contents, install or configure your website or maintain your website. It's also called as an administrator. Okay, the website backend. So in order to see your website backend, you need to type http localhost, your folder name /administrator. Okay, so in order to do that, open the browser, type http://localhost, then the folder name that you have given, free Oracle trainings, finally administrator